Hello, everyone. It's Daryl here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the school community that I've created. So, my school community is called Hope to Action. If you're not familiar with what school is, that's SKOOL.com. And this is where anyone that has a passion for something can go and create a community of other people that might share that passion. You can create a community on anything. And so, what I've decided to create is I want to take my background because I've worked in child welfare now for 10 plus years at all different levels of the agency. I have my MSW. I really enjoy helping people. I've had the pleasure of working with families and individuals from all walks of life, from poor to rich, to people struggling with addiction, domestic violence, sexual abuse, and other traumas, and joblessness or other barriers. And I've helped them overcome those and achieve better versions of themselves. And one of my favorite theories of all time is actually hope theory, and that is kind of what drove me to create this. So, hope theory is actually really simple. It basically says in order to be successful and reach your goal, you have to have basically three components. So, there's three pillars to the hope theory, okay? You have to, for one, make a very clear goal, which is what we're going to get into in this video. Two, you're going to have pathways in order to achieve that goal. And lastly, three, you have to have the agency. I refer to the agency as even just the desire, which I think some of us just kind of take for granted as being there. But you can very well have a goal. You might think it's great, but when it boils down to it, it doesn't really align with you and what you believe in it. If you don't believe in it, you're not going to be successful in it. And so, the theory basically says without any of those, your hope just remains a dream. You need to take your wish and turn it into actual hope. You need to take your dream and turn it into actual reality. So I would love if you guys would join me here on school so that we can interact. We have a great community that we're starting. I just started this community a couple days ago, so there's not very many members. We only have 7 members so far. But let me kind of tell you guys how this is going to work. So I have multiple categories here, as you can see. So we've got my journey where I'm going to be posting every little step of the way of anything I've been working on. So I've only been on here for 5 days. The support others tab is this is where I like to promote other people's communities. So these are people that I actually know. DeFree is one of the first communities I started promoting here, and that's actually another fellow social worker. She is versed in domestic violence, domestic abuse, provides great resources for her members. This is another really great resource. He promotes, just good charities and ways that we can give back. And this is another fantastic group of Michael Sinclair. He's probably one of my very first networking people I had here on school. This is actually not my first round doing this. I tried doing a different school, but this is where I realized my heart is. And we'll get into that more because that's relevant in another lesson when we talk about, ideas and goals and how sometimes we might start with something that we really like and we have to be flexible and we might have to go back to the drawing board. So sometimes it's okay to start from scratch. So, I don't have any kind of social following, a big YouTube channel, anything like that. So this is all starting from ground zero. So the idea is if I can build a successful community, all you guys can too. And you can see here on my fancy little profile here, it says powered by school. That's because I'm on the hobby plan. This costs $9 a month. I'll give my affiliate link as well for you guys to join. You can also just go to school.com directly. No pressure at all to use my affiliate link, only if you would like. But this is $9 for this base version. You get all the features, but if you upgraded to the $99 a month plan, you get some other fancier features, which you'll be able to kind of see here. So as we kind of look through all of these different things that we can look at here, you got your rules, categories, tabs. You can also get plugins here, and you can see some of these are locked behind the payroll wall of Pro. So that's $99 a month. You can make money from this platform, and I do ultimately want to try to generate some revenue, but I want to be able to generate revenue in order to give back to the community. But they recently added tiers. So In my community, it's free for pretty much everything, but when you go up here to the classroom, some of these are locked behind a certain tier. So some of these are free, and some of them would require you to pay the $25 a month. However, if you guys direct message me on here, or if you use my email, darreldees1991@gmail.com, or also the email I created for this school specifically, it's called Hope to Action at yahoo.com. If you use that, I'll give you free access to all the courses. So here in announcements, this is just kind of anything kind of going on. Group, this is where anyone can post an issue that they're having. Like you can talk about a struggle. The community will give you feedback. I will give you direct feedback. This is a safe space, so we're going to be very supportive of each other. I moderate this. I'm an active admin for this group, so we won't tolerate any kind of negativity. We want to be here for each other. It doesn't have to be a struggle. You can be a goal. But remember, with struggles, you have to have goals in mind. Struggles, you need goals to overcome them. So we can talk about overcoming struggles. We can talk about achieving goals. These are both very important things I feel like I'm very versed in and able to help with. The accountability is something that I'm using this evidence-based set up here. So, you have your goal. Okay, that's your pathway and focus. So, whenever you post under accountability, I want you to talk about your goal. Give something specific. Here's the example. Finish lesson 3 of the Hope course. Film my first short reflection video. All right. So, this is your goal. Then you have to talk about why does it matter? This is the agency focus. So, why does it matter? So, explain why this goal is important to you. So going back to the example, I want to build consistency and confidence in showing up publicly for my mission. So that is why it's important for me to make a video so I can show up for my community. Current status. Okay, this is where we keep it real. So go ahead and share what progress or even lack of progress you've made on your goal and share that with the group. And then next is action plan. These are actual steps that you can start taking that are realistic in order to start, working on this pathway to achieve your goal. So, here's an example. You list 1 to 3 really clear steps. So you want to record a draft maybe by Wednesday, you want to post some feedback and then edit and be finished by Sunday, whatever you're creating. So the accountability piece, this is where the school community is going to come in. So your fellow members in this group are going to be able to then comment on your posting here about accountability. They can basically say, hey, how's it going? Checking in on you. And you'll know to do that because here's your ask right here. You're saying, tag me if I don't post progress by Saturday. Okay, I can see that I have a typo there, so I should probably fix that. And then reflection, end of the week. Return to the post and update your outcome. Be honest, progress or not. Okay. So here you can see some people have just been commenting on my post, but you can see kind of how I decided to try to finish this. So I wanted to finish lesson 3. I wanted to explain each step. So here we go. Here's my action steps. So this is stuff like I've been working on. So that's kind of how it's going to work. And then we're going to celebrate wins because a big part of the theory of hope is celebrating these wins, even these little tiny wins. So that's kind of what the school community is. I would love if you subscribe to this channel on YouTube. If you would prefer YouTube, I could still try to help you on here as well. I would be able to help you more though on the school platform just because we're able to have live sessions. So every Saturday we actually have a live session where we'll get to kind of have group. And right now it's small, but eventually there'll be a lot of members on and we'll be able to have some good discussions. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back here to the Canva presentation. So this is identify your goal. Okay, very short, sweet, simple. All right, that's my name, Darrell Dees, MSW. Okay, so why goals matter? Goals provide essential structure and motivation, helping individuals navigate their journey towards success. By establishing clear objectives, we can maintain focus and build momentum over time. And this is just very true because you can't very well know where you're going without some sort of goal. And that's kind of why this guy has a map in the picture, because this is kind of your goal. Your goal is kind of what your driving point is, where you're headed. Goal setting benefits. Setting clear goals enhances focus, boosts motivation, and provides a sense of fulfillment. It empowers individuals to take meaningful action towards their aspirations and dreams. So, the way to think about this is if you have a goal, you know that you have a clear objective that you're trying to reach. I'll use myself as an example. So, the very first school community that I started, I kind of had an idea for it. It was a horror review community. It was a lot of fun. I was enjoying it. I kind of had this goal, and it wasn't that, I couldn't necessarily see the overarching vision I had, but at the end, it was not a goal that I fully believed in or that I felt was really the most use of my time, because I want to create something truly helpful for others. Hope theory. Goals serve as essential trail markers in the journey of life, guiding us toward our aspirations while fostering a sense of direction and purpose along the way. And that's just going back to goals in and of themselves. That's kind of how we know where we're headed. Because just like this path, if you don't have a goal, it's like you're walking or hiking around and there's not a path. But because there's a path here, you kind of know where you're going, and that's why goals are important. Speaking of paths, we have pathways to success. So this is that second part. So discover the various paths available to your journey in achieving goals. Each route offers unique challenges and rewards, emphasizing the importance of adaptability to reaching your summit. So what I mean by this is you have all these different ways that you can get on top of this summit. Okay, like let's assume this summit is your goal. There's multiple ways to get there. Every goal, there's more than one way to do it. You just have to decide which of these paths are best for me. Because it has to be something realistic to you. Someone could technically climb all the way up here in this example, or they could walk over here. Well, we can kind of see realistically if we walked this way, maybe that's a little more accessible. Maybe that's not as strenuous. So someone might be able to just hike this very vertical, steep incline, but someone else might not be able to do that. So you have to just see what realistically would work for me to achieve my goal. So agency, this is your belief. This is what I was talking about with my prior community. I didn't much have this agency. I didn't believe in it as much as I believe in this. So believing in your ability to succeed is crucial. This confidence fuels your motivation and empowers you to take take decisive actions towards your goal. So you have to start slowly building up confidence, and we'll get more into this later in other lessons, but the number one way to build up confidence in yourself is you have to start celebrating those little wins. Because every little win that you get, big or small, that's going to boost your confidence. Example would be I might just get 1 view or 2 views on this video because, for one, my YouTube channel has no subscribers, my school community is brand new, I don't have a big social following. So even just getting this video posted, that's the first step. And I'm going to start finding like-minded people. I'm going to start getting people's attention. They're going to be interested in what my school program has to offer, and then this is going to grow and grow. But just getting this video, for example, would be a small win that I can celebrate, because my goal is to create this community that's good and useful and valuable that I can use my education and background and experience to give back to everyone. Because I firmly believe that we all kind of need that pat on the back, that person cheering for us. I want to be that person for you. I want you to be successful. So celebrate those little wins. The power of clarity. Clarity as a goal setting is essential. It allows you to sharpen your vision and strengthen your purpose, ensuring every step taken aligns with your ultimate destination. So you must be very clear in your goals. You might have let's say you have a specific goal. Okay, I'll use myself again. So that previous community that I tried to build, I had this goal of just creating this really wonderful thing. But then I started thinking about, oh, well, that doesn't really make sense. What if I included this? Well, that didn't make sense. What if I included that? And that's part of being adaptable. But you see what I'm doing there? I'm saying, what if this, what if this, what this, what this? And it's like my goal clearly was not that thought out originally. I didn't give it enough thought, or I would kind of start seeing these little pitfalls I was falling in. So it's important that you take the time to truly understand what you're trying to go for. Your why. Understanding your core motivations is essential to setting effective goals. By identifying your why, you can cultivate a deeper sense of purpose and commitment throughout your journey. This part is very important because this is part of your goals. So you need to think, why? Why do I want this goal? So for me, when I made the horror review community, I keep going that as an example. My motivation for that was I wanted to grow a very popular school, which I did in a short amount of time. I had like 20 members. I was ranked like in the hundreds, which is pretty good because there's over 1,000 different communities. So in a short amount of time, very short amount of time, it started really catching on, and that was great. But my goal was to create something that I thought I could eventually use to be helpful towards other people. Like I wanted it to be helpful for people. And the horror community was just kind of a fun hobby. And I was hoping that I could eventually maybe monetize that because I knew I needed some funding in order to promote my other endeavors and give back to people in other ways. So I knew that that would be difficult to do with the horror community. So you have to ask yourself the why. So with this community, what is my why? Well, my why is not because I want to make money, because I'm offering it for free. So obviously, if I wanted to make money, I would charge for it. Now, I do offer different subscription tiers, like we had talked about before. And I know that $25 a month seems pretty steep, but that barely covers my time investment because that includes a 30-minute one-on-one session with me. And if you were to go try to seek out a professional, someone with my same licensures and credentials, a therapist of sorts, they'd be charging like $150 an hour. So it's already value there. So, for me, I feel like my why is to help, and I don't want those tiers to dilute that because, again, I would do those one on one sessions for free. You would just have to reach out. If you want access to the other courses, which they're not even done yet, this is the very first course that I'm lecturing on right now that we're talking about in this video. The rest of the courses I haven't even started yet because I want to really go in depth on them as well. So I will eventually finish all of those. But for a free member, you're only going to get like the first 4 courses, I think is how I have it set up right now. That might be subject to change. But if you want all the courses and you're like, I can't afford that $25 or I don't want to pay that $25, just reach out to me and I'll be sure that you get those courses because my main objective is to help. The other thing is we offer group and other stuff so we can start supporting each other. So when you start thinking about your goal, you need to think about a few things. Is my motivation money? Is my motivation to help? Like, what is my real motivation? And that's going to help you really identify your goal, but it's also going to help you achieve it because you'll have a very clear vision. Setting specific goals. So this is going to be talking about SMART goals. We actually have a whole lot more in-depth conversation in our next course. So the next video that you guys see from me is going to be going into SMART goals, which I'm going to upload these videos, all of them, to YouTube. These are going to be free, so even if you don't pay for the school membership, you'll be able to watch all these videos. So specific goals provide clear direction and focus on your journey, transforming big aspirations into actionable steps that pave the way of success and achievement. So we'll go over what SMART goals are. All right, here are 10 rules. So set achievable goals. Setting realistic and obtainable goals is crucial. This ensures that you remain motivated and focused on your journey, making progress more manageable and less overwhelming. So it has to be something that you truly feel and believe is realistic and something that's obtainable for you. Don't give yourself crazy goals. Like for me, I can't say I'm going to have 1 million followers tomorrow. Like that's not going to happen. Visualize success. Visualizing your success helps create a mental image, but again, make sure it's realistic and obtainable, of your desired outcome. This clarity boosts motivation and reinforces your commitment to achieving your goals throughout the process. This is very proven. The whole manifest mindset, that's something that my friend Michael Sinclair will go over in his community. Is He'll talk about kind of that mindset thought and being able to visualize something, that I think keeps us more motivated and it helps us keep pressing forward. It keeps the vision clear, it keeps the goals clear. Break down tasks. Breaking larger goals into smaller, actionable tasks makes them easier to tackle. This approach allows you to celebrate small victories, fostering a sense of achievement and momentum. Very true. Okay. So celebrate those little wins. That's what I was talking about. So if you have like a really big goal, like for me, I have this goal of creating this really wonderful resource for people, but it all starts somewhere. So, one of the steps that I wanted to take this week was to actually get this video up. So this is one step down. So, I get to celebrate this win with you guys. Prioritizing activities. Prioritizing tasks ensures that you focus on what matters most. This helps you allocate your time and energy effectively, leading to more efficient progress towards your ultimate goal. So, none of us have unlimited time in the day. So, we need to really decide what needs our attention the most. And let's focus in on that. And that's going to come down when you actually plan your goals and you start really thinking about it. That's when all of this is going to kind of start going into play. And this is where I would like to hopefully help you guys. Like, I want to help you guys figure this out. So let's track progress. So regular monitoring your progress helps maintain focus and motivation. It provides insight into what strategies are working and where adjustments may be necessary to stay on track. So this is something that we can kind of do for each other in the community by just giving those feedbacks, but you can also kind of give yourself self-feedback. So I can look at this right now and I can see, okay, this is progress. I'm making a all right video for you guys, but it could certainly be better. I could certainly have probably a even better PowerPoint through Canva. There's things I can always improve on. Reward yourself. So celebrate small victories, reinforce positive behavior, and boost morale. Acknowledge your achievements, no matter how minor, fosters a sense of accomplishment and encourages continued effort. So for me, I'm absolutely going to celebrate this video. And even if it just only gets a few likes, this is the first video of many videos, and more people are going to see it. And I really hope something that I say is going to be helpful. Seek support. Engaging with supportive peers or mentors can guide you through challenges. Sharing experiences and receiving encouragement creates a network that enhances accountability and motivation to your journey. This is exactly what I'm trying to accomplish with my Hope to Action community is we're creating this supportive peer group where we're holding each other accountable, we're sharing real life experiences, we're networking, we're forging those bonds, and we're going to watch each other be successful. Adaptability is key to navigating obstacles. Being open to changing your approach when circumstances shift allows you to persevere and find new pathways to achieving your goals. So this is exactly kind of what happened to me. I had to kind of start from scratch. Sometimes you just have to kind of do that. I kind of hit that roadblock while I wasn't feeling it anymore and I just wasn't sure. And I found this new vision and it feels great and things are going good now. So we're going to really dive into some evidence-based stuff. So here's some more rules that are based through evidence. These are all things that have been studied and proven to be factual. So you got to learn from setbacks. Embrace setbacks as valuable lessons. Analyze what went wrong and adjust your strategy and strengthen your resolve, ensuring future attempts are more informed and resilient. Celebrate milestones. Acknowledge and celebrate small victories along your journey. See how this is a reoccurring thing I say? You got to celebrate these small victories. These moments boost motivation and reinforce your commitment, making the larger goals feel more achievable and within reach. Prioritize reflection. Regularly take a moment to reflect on your progress. This goes back to tracking yourself. This practice fosters self-awareness and helps identify areas for improvement while reinforcing your growth mindset. Share your journey, and this is a big part of like what we can do on the school community. Is engage with others by sharing your experience. Storytelling fosters connection and inspiration, allowing you to gain insight from different perspectives and encourage collective growth. And that's all the vision I've got really for the community is this right here. That's my main goal. Applying the rules. In this section, we will explore practical applications of the evidence-based rules. By implementing these strategies, you can effectively transform your goals into achievable actions on your journey. Essentially, this is just saying once you get used to applying those rules, it's going to help your journey of reaching your goal to be easier because it's going to have you really think out a well thought out plan. Benefits of goal setting. Evidence based goal setting provides structure, clarity, and motivation, empowering individuals to navigate their journey effectively and achieve meaningful milestones along the way. So we got to make sure that we're clear on what we're trying to do. We have a clear plan. We talk about mapping in one of the courses. So actually, in this course, not on the PowerPoint, but on this course, we talk about kind of creating a map where you take your goal, you identify pathways, and you kind of think of your mental map, so to speak. Evidence-based goals. So this section highlights practical examples of evidence-based goal setting, illustrating how clear objectives can lead to impactful results and foster a sense of achievement. So you want to be sure that your goals are practical and achievable. Building hope pathways. Exploring multiple paths encourages adaptability and achieving goals. Highlighting the success can be approached from various directions, ensuring we remain resilient and focused on our journey. This is more about kind of what we talked about. So you can see how this path right here, very probably easier to a lot of people to get here, but there's also some of us that's going to forge the way up here or up here or up here. There's more than one way to get there. Mapping out your path, we'll actually dive into this a little bit more if you're on the course inside of school. It gives some examples of this. So this is identifying the right resources and support. It's crucial for achieving your goals. Seek guidance and tools to empower your journey and enhance your chances of success. Strengthening agency. Building action confidence is crucial for achieving your goals. Embracing challenges and determination enhances your belief in your ability and empowers you to take decisive steps forward. You have to believe in yourself. This person really took a leap, which we don't know where he leaped from, just like we don't know where each other is coming from, but this person took a leap of faith. This is agency, confidence. This person is clearly confident that he can make it. Building self efficiency is essential for achieving goals. By visualizing success and embracing a positive mindset, individuals can enhance their belief in their capabilities and overcome challenges. Refining your goal. Writing a clear goal statement is essential to articulate your vision. This declaration serves as a powerful reminder of your aspirations and commitment to achieving them. So refine your goal, say it out loud, know your goal. Like, I will achieve this. I will do this. By this date, I will. Crafting affirmations. Powerful affirmations help strengthen belief and motivation. By articulating your goals aloud, you reinforce your commitment and embrace your sense of agency in the journey of success. So affirmations, you're going to literally scream, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I am enough. I am good enough. I am capable. You go ahead and affirm yourself. Hope in action, thus the name of the community. Reflection and progress journaling are essential for nurturing sustained hope. By documenting your journey, you cultivate self awareness and recognize achievements along the way. That's partly why I'm doing that My Journey section, is I want to kind of show you guys from square one how I managed to get to wherever I end up. Hopefully we end up building a really great community that's helpful, and I hope I can share a lot of good resources with you guys. I'm not necessarily the greatest presenter, so I'm sure this video was not perfect, but I feel pretty good for this being my first one. So here's some closing reflections. I'm going to give a quote by Lao Tzu. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Lao Tzu, maybe it's Lao Tzu. It's the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I just think that quote is beautiful. So again, if you guys would like, please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you found this helpful and you'd like to hear some more. Come on over here to school. That's skool.com. And if you do /hope to action, this is going to be my page here. I'm going to also have a link in the video. come join and be a member, and you can help jump in on some of these group sessions. We have group sessions every Saturday from 7 to 8 p.m. if you're on Chicago time. If you want to go reach me, they do have DMs here, and you can see people do reach out to me. So if you reach out, I will respond and I can give you access to all the courses. I will say that right now, only this one course is here, so you can see my one course. So these are the different sections here, and a lot of this is stuff that we've covered inside of this PowerPoint, but I would still encourage going through this because this will be different information. We'll kind of have some different examples. So that's everything for this video. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope the PowerPoint was good, and I hope I did a pretty good job for you guys. If you have any questions, please comment below, and I hope to see you within the school community.